Good afternoon, and welcome to the IEP data collection using ESPED. This session of IEP data collection is to help you learn to input the data, points, scores into the data collection system in ESPED. This will help you maintain your documentation for when you are ready to update your student's IEP at the end of the grading period. Inputting your data collection into ESPED is a mandatory requirement in Aldine. By the time you're ready to input your data collection, you should already have access in ESPED. If you do not have access to ESPED, you need to contact your assessment specialist who can get the process started for you. To start your data collection, you need to be in the Progress Report app, which is located on the left side of the dashboard after you log on to ESPED. Click on the words Progress Report and it will take you to the student selection screen. Select your student. Make sure that you use the student's active file. You will always use the active file when entering data points for data collection or updating IEPs. Then select your FERPA reason. This time you will select the Updating the Student's Progress option. Once you do that, this will take you to the student's demographic screen, where you will select which screen you need to use to enter your data collection. You will enter your student's assignments or data points, in other words, the data that you need for your IEP updates, in the data collection screens. Screen 4 is for goal-only IEPs, and Screen 5 are for IEPs with goals and objectives. Let's look at the progress data collection, objective benchmarks, which is Screen 5, as most IEPs will have objectives, so this is the one that's going to be most utilized. First thing you will do is look at the dates on the left side under progress periods. If you are the only one who will be entering data in data collection for the student, you will be the one to enter the date. Now, the dates are not based on grading periods, such as number 1 is the first grading period. The dates are entered based on which grading period is the first time the data has been entered for the IEP of this current annual ARD. So if this is the first time that this student on this IEP will be having data collection, then it would be in the number 1 spot. But if this is even though it's the first grading period of the year, but this is the second time that the student will be having data entered for his IEP, then it would go in the number 2 spot. It's generally a good rule of thumb that the next available blank spot is where you will put your date. But let's say you open this screen and there are not any blank dates. There are dates from 2 to 3 years ago. Go ahead and check the dates. If there is a date that is prior to August of 2016, go ahead and delete all of those dates. You want to keep any dates ranging from October 2016 to June 2017, as those dates could have been from the current annual ARD. And the same principle goes if this is a new annual ARD. Let's say we just had an ARD August 23rd, 2017. For the date, you would go to the top box and put 10/13/2017. If there are dates and you are starting a new annual ARD, it's okay to go ahead and delete the dates. Now, I know this can get confusing, so if you're having problems with what do I delete, do I keep it, just email me and we can go over it. If you are not the only person entering data for this student, then whoever gets into the system first will enter the date. Now, I'm giving you in your handouts a list of the dates for the grading periods. The first 9 weeks is from August 21st, 2017 to October 13th, 2017. The second 9 weeks is October 16th, 2017 to December 20th, 2017. The third 9 weeks is from January 8th, 2018 to March 9th, 2018. And our fourth and final 9 weeks of the year will be March 19th, 2018 to May 31st, 2018. Now that we have our dates entered, let's look at the data points. You get your data points from the student's assignments. It's paperwork and grades. And it's not just the assignment grade. You have to look at the assignment and determine what part of the assignment is going to be used for the IEP. Now, I know this can get confusing, so let me see if I can clarify it. Let me give you an example of a 10-question quiz. 4 of the 10 questions pertain to your IEP goal or objective. Out of those 4 questions, they answered 2 correct. They would get 50% when entering the data point into the data collection in ESPED. But let's say they answered all 4 correct. They would get 100% when entering the data point. So now that we have a clearer understanding of the data points, let's look at the number of data points per student per IEP, goal, and/or objectives that you're going to need per grading period. Now, there is going to be a chart with the handouts, but I really want to go over it quickly so there's no confusion. The required data point entries for an inclusion, which could be co-teach, co-teach modified, support facilitation, in-class support modified, in grades EC through 12. Your students in the SLC program, SPPCD program, students who are self-contained deaf ed, our students that are in resource classes, our students that are on homebound, and students that are in a gap unit. You're going to need a minimum of 6 data points per grading period. During weeks 1 through 3 of the grading period, you're going to need a minimum of 2 data points. Weeks 4 through 6, it would be 2 more data points. Then weeks 7 through 9, 2 data points. And remember, these are the minimum. You can always have more. If you have a student in the SEALS program, theirs will be a total of a minimum of 3 per grading period. During weeks 1 through 3, they will need 1 data point per IEP. Weeks 4 through 6 would be at 1 data point. Weeks 7 through 9 would be 1 data point. And always, our students with the BMP and BTP plans, those are still updated in Review 360. Okay, now that we have the number of data points that we need to set up our data collection. First, you go to the objective that you want to enter the data for. Right now, let's say it's the second objective for math. You click on the data collection button. On the screen, you will note that the objective is already entered as it was accepted at the current annual ARD. However, I'm going to need to enter the data collection type and the aim line. Click in the box next to the data collection type. You want to select percentage. Same thing for the aim line, which is looking at the mastery criteria for that particular objective. In other words, what is the mastery that I am aiming for? If you look at the objective at the top, it is the percentage. In this case, it is 70. I do not need to input the percentage sign in the box. I already indicated that my type of data collection will be percentage, so just put the number in the box. You will leave the other boxes blank. The dates will be the date range of the data that I'm looking for per grading period. Remember that you're going to be listing data points for the entire run of the IEP. So if I'm doing a minimum of 6 points per grading period, at the end of the IEP, I could have a minimum of 36 data points. You have to find a way to sort them. Your date range is how you're going to sort your data. Another box you will leave blank is the average. That box will be populated by ESPED based on an average of the data that you enter. It will change each time you enter a data point. The other box will lure you in. You will be tempted to use that percentage to update your IEPs, but do not. The progress toward objective box is the percentage of how close your student is to the mastery of the percentage that you put in the aim line box. So just watch that box. Beware. Now that you have set up your entry of your data collection, let's do it. Let's click on the new entry button. When you click on the new entry button, a collection information box will appear. Let's look at the boxes and what you will need to enter. First box is the entry date. Now this is not the day that you enter all the data points. And let's get real here. I'm aware that there may be days when you enter all the data. It could be 10/12/2017 and you are trying to enter all your data for all your students. You cannot enter 10/12/2017 on all those entries. The entry date is the date that's on the assignment. So if Mary had an assignment 9/12/2017, put that date as your entry date. Then look at the successful probes. That is the percentage of the IEP objective from the assignment that the student got correct. In this case, it was 65. And note, I am not putting a percentage mark. You want to leave the intervention required box blank. Do not check it. Do not click on it. Now you're going to want to put your name in the staff member box. Now remember, there are 3 different ways in which to locate your name. Number 1, and the easiest one, my preference, use the new button. Click on that word new, and then when the text box comes up, type your name. Or I can scroll for my name and look. And now remember, mine's Mary. I'm not scrolling all the way down. Number 3, or you can click in the top box. If you click in that top space at the top, you can generally start typing in your name. Now, if you're going to use that third option, make sure that when you type your name, you do it in one quick motion, or the alpha will change when you hesitate. Now, in the comments box, you will indicate what accommodations and/or modifications you used for that assignment. Then list any other behavior or notes. Just make sure that they're professional and subjective. Once you input this information, click on the Save box and it will start your data. Note that the average box changes every time you enter a new data point assignment. The average is what you will use to update the IEP at the end of the grading period. Now that we've entered our data for our IEPs with goals and objectives, let's look at how to do this for a goal-only IEP. Note that I am now on screen 4. It really is the same processes as it would be for an IEP with objectives. The date could be there, or you may have to enter the date. It's the same process. Instead of a new entry button, you'll note you have a data collection button. It's the same thing. It will bring up the goal. Like the objectives, you will need to set up the goal for data collection. The aim line is the same. It's going to be the mastery criteria. This particular example, it's a 70. The data collection type is the same. You will indicate percentage. The date range will remain blank until you need to sort your data. Oh yeah, I forgot. I need to warn you on this one. Make sure that when you put a date range in or you take the date range out, that you click on the refresh button. That way the system will know that you're looking for new information. The average box should be blank, but like the box in the objective screen, it will populate as you enter data points. Remember, when you set it up, you want to click on New Data to enter your data. Here your collection information box is pretty much the same. Entry date is the date of the assignment or your data point. Successful probes is the number of the percentage the student got correct. Staff member is your name. Same thing with the comments. However, this time you shouldn't have any modifications, just accommodations. Remember, if the student is receiving a modified curriculum, they need objectives, and that is on the other screen. Once you complete the collection information box, click on Save, and it will bring you back to the data collection screen for goal-only IEPs. I realize that we have covered a lot of information in a short time. As always, if you have any questions, please feel free to contact me. My contact information is on the last slide. Thank you for attending the IEP data collection using ESPED training session on Schoology.